Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and a very good morning and salam Ramadan. Welcome to our 10th session of webinar series Captain of Industry. Brought to you by Faculty of Engineering, we are initiating university-industry collaboration during MCO to have a platform with our Captain of Industry to share their thoughts, way forward and challenges during post-COVID-19. Now we are streaming live from Facebook Faculty of Engineering. Today, we would like to welcome Yang Berbahagia Datuk Engineer Khairil Anwar Ahmad, President and CEO Iskandar Investment Bhd, with this topic today entitled Engineering and Employability. Quite interesting, right? Okay, without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Profesor Datuk Engineer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq, Datuk Abdul Kadir, Dean Faculty of Engineering, UTM Johor Bahru, to introduce our captain today. Over to you, Datuk.
Thank you, Murni. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to our speaker, Datuk Khairil, and also a very good morning to all of you watching this Captain of Industry webinar live through our Faculty of Engineering Facebook. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much to our presenter today, despite his busy schedule, can still slot an hour with us to share his experience as the leader, the captain of Iskandar Investment Bhd. Let me brief all of you a short biography of our speaker. Datuk Khairil has over 35 years of experience in utilities, construction, engineering, property development, credit management, and investment analysis, and has been involved in the development of Iskandar Malaysia for 13 years, since joining IIB in 2007. His last position prior to his current position at IIB was the Managing Director, CEO of Medini Iskandar Malaysia Sendirian Berhad, MIM, where he remains as a director and chairman. Datuk Khairil is also a board member of Sports Johor Sendirian Berhad and several joint venture companies that include partners such as UEM Sunrise, Kuwait Finance House, Raffles Education Corporation, Mitsui and Company, and Sunway Group. Prior to his posting at MIM, Datuk Khairil was the Chief Operating Officer of IIB, and prior to that, the Chief Executive Officer of EduCity Iskandar Malaysia Sendirian Berhad, the developer of catalytic education-related projects for Iskandar Puteri. Among the institutions negotiated by Datuk Khairil, which have established their presence at EduCity, are Marlborough College, Newcastle University, University of Southampton, Raffles American School, University of Reading, Malaysia, Netherlands Maritime Institute of Technology, Multimedia University, and Raffles University. Datuk Khairil is a professional engineer with a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil and Environmental Engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, USA, and an MBA from the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow. Datuk Khairil has attended an executive education program at the École Hôtelière de Lausanne in February 2010 and the executive education program at Harvard Kennedy School in May 2016, as well as several executive education programs at Harvard Business School, including corporate level strategy in 2018 and strategic IQ, creating smarter corporations in 2019. Datuk Khairil is a very keen rugby union enthusiast and enjoys reading and traveling, and has previously volunteered for a mercy mission to Pakistan. So without further ado, I call upon Datuk Khairil for his speech, for his presentation. Over to you, Datuk.
Thank you very much, Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Rafiq. And also thank you very much, Puan Murni Haryanti, for introducing me at the beginning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak, and a very good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for taking time to join us for the talk this morning. I feel very honored and privileged to be able to share some of my experiences with all of you. And I would like to thank Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Rafiq once again for inviting me this morning. I started my career as a young engineer on the 1st of March in 1985. So I've just covered about 35 years of service, both as an engineer and as well as a corporate person. So I know many of you young engineers are busy in your studies, and some of you I'm sure will be graduating later this year. But at some stage, all of you will be entering the job market and looking for employment or perhaps may even want to start your own business. But definitely all of you will be looking to prepare your plans as you leave your university and leave your student days and look forward to earning some income to support yourself and perhaps your families in the future. So before I go into talking about my topic for today, engineering and employability, please permit me to share a little bit about what I'm doing right now. As Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Rafiq mentioned, I'm now working with Iskandar Investment Bhd. I've been there for the last 13 years. Before that, I was working with a Singaporean architectural and engineering practice for 3 years. But I decided to join the Iskandar team in 2007 because firstly, I'm a Johorian myself. And secondly, I feel that this is a project that brings progress to the nation, specifically to the state of Johor, where I'm born. So I was very keen to be able to contribute at least a little bit towards nation building. And that's why I joined IB in 2007. So if I may just go through some slides. Our company, Iskandar Investment Bhd, was established in 2006. We are a strategic developer and investment company for economic growth in Iskandar, Malaysia. And our shareholders are Khazanah Nasional, the majority shareholder. And we also have 2 other minority shareholders, which is EPF and the state government of Johor, which is KPRJ. The chairman of the company is Datuk Khairil. He is the managing director of Khazanah Nasional. So he's my chairman and he's my boss. So I report to him. And for the last 13 years, we have done various projects in Iskandar, Malaysia. And together with our sister companies, there are many investments that Khazanah has undertaken in Iskandar, Malaysia, specifically in Iskandar Puteri, because Iskandar Puteri is where most of our lands are located. So you can see on the slide some of the real estate projects undertaken by our group and the companies that are involved in Iskandar, Malaysia. For example, you can see Iskandar Investment there, and UEM Sunrise is our sister company in Khazanah. Avira is the joint venture company with Singapore government, Temasek. And then you will see EduCity, which is our education project. Also Iskandar Malaysia Studios, which is our creative project for the creative industry. We have Legoland, which is our project for leisure and wellness. And we have Gleneagles Hospital, which is our healthcare project. And at the bottom, you will see the words I2M and GBS. This is an initiative by Khazanah to create employment opportunities in Iskandar Puteri. And what we do is we invite companies to relocate the offices, especially from Singapore, because Iskandar Puteri has a lower cost base for them, meaning to say that the cost of rental of office is lower, the cost of accommodation is lower, the cost of healthcare for their staff is lower. And so we try to attract as many companies as possible to establish their offices in Iskandar Puteri. And therefore, that will also create the employment opportunities for local Johorians and create the economic spillover and multiply effect for various services in the Johor region. So among the companies that have relocated are companies from the US, from Japan, and so we also have DHL there. So you know, these are some of the things that we need to do, especially after the MCO is uplifted, because I think we are now facing uncertain times in the economy. So part of our objective as a subsidiary of Khazanah and also with the state government as our shareholder is to try and stimulate the economy again and try to introduce new projects and of course create more employment opportunities, for example, for young engineers such as yourself. So if I just go quickly through the slides, this shows you EduCity. EduCity is a 300-acre education hub, and we have several universities that have established their presence there. And our team runs the stadium and also the student accommodation. So Datuk Rafiq has already mentioned some of the universities that are already established there. We do have a good sports complex, and we run our own student accommodation. And I'm sure there have been some of you who have been to our stadium for some of the events that we have from time to time. If not, we're happy to welcome everyone from UTM to come and visit EduCity at some stage in the future. You're more than welcome, and I'm sure there are some opportunities that we can explore together. Madini is the Central Business District of Iskandar Puteri. This was started by IIB in 2008. It comprises of 2,100 acres of a fully developed mixed development project. If you're familiar, this is where Legoland is located, and also Gleneagles Hospital. And I think that many companies and developers have invested there. And again, if anyone from UTM would like to visit Madini, I would be welcome to organize a site visit. This is Legoland. We have 4 elements in Legoland. This park is built over 65 acres. So we have the theme park, we have the hotel, we have the water park, and we have the aquarium. Unfortunately, the park is now closed because of the pandemic. So our revenue have become zero. And this is a real problem for us. How do we maintain the salaries of our staff? We have 1,000 staff in Legoland theme park alone. And if you include the staff in the hotel and the staff in the aquarium, there are over 1,000 people who are depending on us to secure their jobs and to keep their families in good position. So these are one of the real challenges that we are facing as a group with regards to how the pandemic is affecting us and affecting our business plans in the future. As I mentioned, I2M and GBS, we facilitate the entry of investors and foreign companies through customized incentives. This is our healthcare project, where this is a joint venture with the Singapore government, Temasek, where we have wellness centers called Avira and Affinity. We developed a very big studio set called Iskandar Malaysia Studios. It was formerly called Pinewood Studios, but the contract with Pinewood has ended. So now we are branding it as Iskandar Malaysia Studios, and we use this to attract local and regional producers to develop movies or TV production. Iskandar Space is something that I would like to share with all of the students in UTM. You will see that there's a UTM signage also at the bottom. Iskandar Space is our co-working space and our startup space in Affinity, located in Madini, where we promote entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and we try to help the startup community by organizing various events. And we have collaboration with various agencies, including Cradle, Ministry of Finance, and MDEC, to try and help and promote young startups who want to cultivate and nurture their ideas. Because we are well aware that a lot of young people these days may not necessarily want to be employed in a company or be employed full-time with an agency. There are many young people who want to try their own online business and try to monetize their ideas. So we create this platform to promote that. And we hope that some of you can visit our website or our Instagram. And perhaps if you have questions and you want to participate or visit us, we will be happy to have you at any time. We just opened again last week, but I think right now the timing is quite limited. So you please check our website and you can see our operating hours. Virinity is our VR center, which we opened last year in September. This is a joint venture with Korea Telecom, which uses the latest VR technology from Korea. And we use this as a platform for research, for entertainment, for education, and to derive solutions and applications for the community. Because at the end of the day, we as engineers, our objective is to bring solutions and to bring applications to humankind, to develop ideas and to make the world a better place, and to do things in a more efficient manner. And I think now with this pandemic and the MCO and the lockdown, engineers are even more needed to come up with even more creative solutions to solve some of the problems that we are facing today. For example, the day before the lockdown was announced, we have the Prime Minister giving his speech on nation television, saying that we are going to be a lockdown for the next 2 weeks. So all the network engineers in the country are scrambling to make sure that all our network connectivity is in place. Even in my company, the network engineers are making sure that everybody's laptop is working properly, that everybody's connected, that our Zoom system, our Microsoft Teams are all working, right? So immediately engineers have to come into action. And now one of the problems is travel. How do we travel? Nobody wants to go into an airplane now because everybody is scared whether the air in the aircraft is safe or not. So all the aircraft engineers now are also trying to find out what is the solution. How do we make the aircraft more safe? So engineers are needed all the time to help make life a better place for all of us. And even in my office now, I'm now in my office. So I have to make sure that our air conditioning system as well in the office is safe, and that we don't circulate air that is not, which is unsafe. So we face all these questions, and the people are asking for solutions all the time. So we as engineers, we have to achieve the expectations of the people and of the community. So I think that's all for my slides. I thank you for your patience in viewing my slides with me. So now I would like to go to my main topic, which is engineering and employability. I was very fortunate that when I started my work in 1985, I had a good mentor, a professional engineer by the name of Lee Kok Tai. So I kept my logbook, and he was a good mentor for me. He guided me for almost 5 years as a young engineer. I hope that as you prepare for entry into the workplace, you will also pursue your membership with Institution of Engineers Malaysia, and of course Lembaga Jurutera Malaysia. Professional training and qualification is very important. For me, I'm now 58 years old, but every day I think that there's something new I can learn, even from my young engineers. I think their life is a lifelong journey of learning. So you must always be on the lookout for new knowledge, and sometimes you get ideas from the strangest places. So you might even meet somebody who is very poor and is very not successful in doing business, but then again there could be lessons that you can learn. So as young engineers, always keep an open mind, and always look for new knowledge and new ideas. So for the rest of my my session today, I'm going to share some ideas with all of you, and some of my thoughts about how you can prepare as you go out to the market, and as you look for jobs, or maybe as some of you are looking to start your own business or join your family business. I've experienced several recessions in my 35-year career, so I think I will share some of these thoughts with you. So as you know, our economic statistics are very worrying right now. Our unemployment has gone up to 3.9%, And conversely, our GDP growth has dropped to 0.7%. And the pandemic is still there. The unseen enemy is still around us. And now we are very grateful and to the frontliners for helping to protect us and the community. But we don't know when this pandemic will finish, and we don't know actually as of today what is the extent of the damage to the economy and what is the full impact to all of us. We still don't know. For example, we don't know when we can travel again. We don't know when we can have a kenduri kahwin again. We don't know whether we can visit our relatives during Hari Raya. So we don't know when we will have a full meeting in the office again. We don't know when we will go and take Tarikh with all our friends. So I think a lot of uncertainty facing us. So what can I share with you? I'm reminded by our Kementerian Kesihatan, Ketua Pengarah Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham. Dia mengatakan bahawa kita perlu avoid crowded places. Dia kata kita avoid the 3 C's. Avoid the crowded places, avoid the confined spaces. Crowded places maknanya we cannot go for Ramadan Bazaar. Confined spaces, we cannot go to, let's say, movie theatre. And avoid close conversation, bermuka dekat-dekat. Maknanya student-student ni tak boleh pergi dating lah kan. So you have to be cool for a while. So I'm reminded of the 3 C's that we have to avoid. So maybe I can share with you my 3 C's that we should always remember. So the 3 C's that I would like to share with you for the rest of my session this morning is communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. So let me start with communication. Because I conduct a lot of interviews and I meet a lot of young graduates. I also interview senior positions. But the number one thing that I look for when I meet somebody who walks through the door and comes into my meeting room is the way he or she communicates. So that's very important. In fact, when I first started my career in 1985, I was working dengan, saya bertugas dengan Lembaga Elektrik Negara. Saya melaporkan diri kepada Ibu Pejabat Lembaga Elektrik Negara di Bangsa. Tapi selepas 2 bulan saya dipindah khidmat kepada Stesen Jana Elektrik Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz di Kapar, Selangor. Pada masa itu Stesen Jana Elektrik itu merupakan stesen jana elektrik yang terbesar di Malaysia yang sedang dibina. Dan saya laporkan diri di pejabat dan my boss is Japanese. So he doesn't speak much English and I don't speak Japanese, right? So it was quite a surprise for me. So I have to learn how to communicate with him. And he has 40 engineers reporting to him. So he has to communicate with them. So, I think being able to communicate is critical for you as you start your career out there after you leave university. So what do I mean by communicate? You need to be articulate. You need to be able to present your thoughts. You need to be able to keep it simple but precise. And you need to be focused. Maknanya cara kita berkomunikasi itu sangat penting. Kita perlu secara ringkas tetapi tepat. Ya, jangan terlalu how to say long-winded atau berpanjang lebar ataupun cerita mak nenek kan. I think when you communicate, make sure that your focus is simple but it's accurate and precise. So that's the verbal part. In terms of non-verbal, your body language, you need to be, you need to maintain, you need to be look confident, maintain your eye contact, because it's very important for you to be able to demonstrate your sincerity and your honesty. So your body language, cara kita bawa diri, cara kita duduk, cara kita menghadap orang. All these are important elements as you communicate, especially for the first time, especially if you're going for interview and you want to make an impression. And then, of course, written communication. You need to be able to understand how to write letters, how to write reports, Many companies have their own formula, have their own format, have their own template. So of course, there is something that you can learn when you report for duty. But it means that you have to be your thought process, the way you think, has to be translated into a written form so that you can present your ideas in a report or in a letter. The other thing is in terms of bilingual, meaning to say that being able to speak another language. Some Malaysians are already fortunate because they can speak Bahasa Malaysia, they can speak English, and they can speak their dialect, which could be Tamil, which could be Cantonese, which could be Mandarin. But for example, Malay students normally only speak Bahasa Malaysia and also English. Adalah orang cakap Jawa pun ada kan, cakap Minang pun ada, tapi that's the minority. So I want to suggest to all of you, if you have the opportunity, try to acquire another language. When I did my MBA in the UK in 92, 93, I was very envious. Saya tengok banyak student di keliling saya cakap bahasa macam-macam. Ada yang cakap bahasa Sepanyol, ada yang cakap bahasa Perancis, ada yang cakap bahasa Jerman. So I feel that I only speak English, but they are multilingual. They speak Italian, they speak French, so they speak Belgium. I think it's something that is important. If you can acquire one more language, it will be very good. It can be Arabic, it can be Japanese, it can be Korean. Of course, it can be Mandarin as well. So, for example, when I go to meetings in Korea, some of the Koreans, they don't speak English, so I have to bring a translator. When I go to China, I have to bring my staff who speak Mandarin so that they can translate for me. And when I go to Germany, I was in Germany recently. Many Germans speak English, so that's not a problem. But having somebody in my team that can speak different languages is very important for me, because I deal a lot with foreign companies. And now any new staff that joins my company, I will offer them to take another language, which the company will pay for. So I have a new staff who just joined me. She studied Islamic finance in UIA. So now she wants to learn Korean. So I have sent her to study Korean, paid by the company, so that she can acquire that language. So interestingly, she is also my drone pilot. So you can see that the people that I recruit are people who are multidisciplined, who can communicate, and who want to understand new knowledge and try new things. Yeah. And talking about drones, right? The other way of communication is through pictures. As you may know, our brain processes pictures 60,000 times faster than audio, than text. So that's why I use a lot of drone pictures and videos. For example, every 2 or 3 months, I have meetings with my boss, and I have meetings with my board. So my reports, sometimes I use drone videos. So I will send my drone to take pictures, the latest pictures of my projects and our lands, and I will show this to my board so that they can see for themselves what is happening in Iskandar Puteri without having to come to Iskandar Puteri themselves. So I think being able to use drones and being able to use drone videos is a tool that I think you should also learn to do. And finally, I think especially now with the pandemic, a lot of people are working from home. So I think it's important for all of us to learn all the platforms for virtual communication. So today we are all communicating via google.com, but I'm sure some of you have also used Zoom for meetings. I use Microsoft Teams for my office meetings. And, we can also use Skype and various other platforms. So I think it's very important for you to be able to acquire that, yeah? Okay, so let me move to the second C, which is critical thinking. Critical thinking is being able to think and to challenge whatever people are saying, right? Because if people say to you, you must go to Senai Airport via motorbike, because that is the fastest way to avoid the traffic jam, then you have to think, but is that the safest way? Is that the most convenient way? What happens if it rains? What happens if it's very slippery on the roads? So critical thinking is challenging the norm. So I would say to you that it's important for you to be able to look at a situation, analyze the situation, identify the options, and then come up with an evaluation of the options, and then come up with a recommendation. So critical thinking to me is something that's very important. I'm sure all of you in your classes are encouraged by your professors and your lecturers to always think out of the box and to always be analyzing concepts that come your way. So I just want to emphasize this point to say to you that it's something that's very important, something you should always be conscious of. Jadi kalau kita berjumpa dengan orang dan orang memberi kita pandangan, pendapat saya jangan kita terima bulat-bulat. Saya rasa ada manfaat dia untuk kita beranalisa sentiasa supaya kita faham apa situasi yang kita menghadapi dan apakah solusi yang paling tepat dan yang paling sesuai. Dan kita patut rasa tidak malu ataupun rasa tidak takut untuk mengeluarkan hujah kita atau untuk kita argue atau kita challenge. Tapi at the same time without being rude, and without creating some kind of conflict. Kita maksud saya bukan untuk bergaduh atau untuk menimbulkan masalah, tapi what I call constructive criticism or constructive comments, or constructive suggestions. So in our company, we are always looking for people who are confident, who are able to analyze situations and are able to make decisions and to recommend solutions. So this is the second point that I want to share with you with regards to the 3 C's. So I have some examples. For example, when we developed the EduCity project, we wanted to bring a few faculties. EduCity is an interesting concept. It's not. It's what we call a multi-varsity concept. It's not one university with 5 or 6 faculties. It's 5 or 6 universities, each with a different faculty. So, for example, when we developed the studios, Pinewood Studios, we need a school of cinematic arts in order to create talent for people to work at the studios. So we need producers, we need directors, we need cameramen, we need script writers. So we wanted to have a school of cinematic arts. So Pinewood recommended to us one of the best film schools is the University of Southern California, which is based in Los Angeles, and a lot of their students go to Hollywood. So I went there to negotiate with the University of Southern California, but they told me that they cannot open up a branch campus in Malaysia because many of their lecturers are actually from industry. Many of their lecturers are actually from Hollywood. So the lecturer for film production is a film producer in Hollywood. So he cannot be teaching in Malaysia. So you have to think out of the box. Now, how do we do this? We want to learn from them. We want to take some lessons from them. But they cannot come to Malaysia. So what's the solution? So finally, after some negotiations, we decided to establish a relationship with Multimedia University. So there's a partnership between USC and Multimedia University, where USC will train the trainers or train the professors in MMU, and USC will also develop some of the modules for the curriculum, And USC will also provide internship for some of the students. So that's how we have a win-win solution. And that's an example of how critical thinking is very important for us to come up with solutions to real problems that we face. Yeah. Another example I have is when I went to DHL, because I negotiated an agreement with DHL Global Innovation in Germany in order for us to share ideas and to develop new concepts for logistics, and also to run some test bed ideas in Malaysia. And they shared with me their drone technology. So they have a problem. In Germany, there's a lot of snow in the winter. Some of the small villages are cut off because the roads cannot be passed through because of heavy snow. So their solution now is they have a little cabin in the village, which is in the mountain. Normally, the village, a small village in the mountain. So they have a little cabin up in the village, and every other day, DHL send their drone up to the mountain. The drone will stop above the cabin. The roof will open, and then the drone will come down. The postman will take the parcel, and then the drone will go up, and then the cabin roof will close, and the drone goes back down to the lower level. So now they use drones to send parcels up to the small villages. So it's much safer. They don't have to send somebody to drive all the way. Sometimes the village only has one small parcel, but it still needs to be delivered. So now they use drones as the solution to that problem. And the third example I have is the example that I mentioned earlier. I used to travel quite a bit because I do a lot of trade mission. I meet a lot of companies and negotiate agreements for them to come and invest in Iskandar, Malaysia. So I travel a lot, meaning to say I fly a lot. But now I'm very scared to even go into an airplane to fly from KL to JB, because people say that aircraft air conditioning system is not 100% safe for virus. I'm not sure. Some people say it's safe, some people say it's not safe. So is it really safe? I think only the air conditioning engineers can tell us, right? So now I think all the aircraft engineers in the world are probably checking all the aircraft and all the systems to make sure that the circulation and the air that we breathe in aircraft is safe, so that people can travel once again. Otherwise, we'll be forever staying in our own countries, or maybe we go the old-fashioned way and take a boat to Indonesia, or take a boat to Japan. I don't know. We shall see what happens in the future. So I've covered 2 out of my 3 C's. The first one being communications, the second one being critical thinking. My third and last point is collaboration. So what do I mean by collaboration? When you go out, when you leave university, I'm sure in university you have also undergone a lot of collaboration. You collaborate with your classmates, you collaborate with your tutors, you collaborate with your professors, you collaborate with your teammates when you play sports. But when you go out to the working world, you collaborate even more, right? Because, for example, when you join a company, you'll be part of a team. So you need to collaborate with everyone in the company, be it the legal department or the finance department or the HR department or the marketing department or the strategy department or the governance department or risk management department or the QA department. There are so many departments in the company that you have to collaborate with. Even if you start your own business, there are a lot of things that you need to collaborate, right? You need to collaborate with the marketing people to promote your product. You need to collaborate with a crowdfunding company to help raise funds for your ideas. You need to collaborate with income tax in order to reduce any tax that you have to pay. So life is all about collaboration. So that's very important. So again, when I come back to my original concept, how do you communicate and how do you share your critical ideas? It's via collaboration. So, for example, in my job as investment and development projects. For example, recently we built a McDonald's in EduCity. So even McDonald's is a simple project, right? But yet again, the amount of collaboration and communication that we have to do is a lot. First, I need to get my architects to design. First I have to engage with McDonald's and get them to agree to open up a McDonald's in EduCity. And then I have to communicate with the architects to design the building. And then I have to communicate with my quantity surveyor to give me a costing. How much is it going to cost? And then I have to communicate with Majlis Bandaraya Iskandar Puteri so that the plans can be approved. And then I have to communicate with pejabat daerah untuk mendapatkan lesen perniagaan. And then I have to communicate dengan pegawai kewangan negeri untuk dapat tax punya approval. So a lot of collaboration takes place when you're out working in the real world. And so the other example I have is if you are a startup and you want to go to our Iskandar space, you need to collaborate dengan, for example, Perbadanan Usahawan Negeri Johor, collaborate dengan Kementerian Belia Tenaga Inovasi, dan juga you have to collaborate dengan people who market your products, kan? Because if you have a good idea but you can't sell your idea, then that's the end of your idea, right? So I think I didn't realize it's already 11:42. So just to summarize, for all you young engineers, just try to bear in mind as you prepare to go out to look for employment opportunities or start your new businesses. Try to remember communication is very important. Critical thinking is also very important, and being able to collaborate and to be part of a bigger team is also very important. But lastly, if I may add, underlying all of this, of course, is that you must always be an engineer with integrity. Whatever you do as a young engineer must be in a transparent manner. Yeah, kita mesti menjalani tugas kita dengan ikhlas, dengan tahap integrity yang tinggi, dan supaya apa yang kita sebutkan dan apa kerja yang kita jalankan diterima oleh komuniti dengan rasa baik, dengan rasa confident, dan dengan rasa dengan kita rasa bangga lah dengan kerja kita sendiri. So I hope that I was able to share some experiences and some ideas with all of you. And as I said, if any of you would like to visit our office or visit EduCity, please let us know and we'll be happy to organize any site visits. Thank you once again kepada Dekan Yang Bahagia Datuk Profesor Dr. Rafiq kerana sudi menjemput saya pada pagi ini. I'll be happy to answer any questions from anybody. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much, Datuk. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for your good, inspiring, and awesome talk for sharing with us today. Despite of your busy schedule, you are giving your precious time with us and also your effort today. All right, now we move to our Q&A session. So we have a few interesting questions to our captain today. All right, again from Zafira Hashim. She's one of the most active viewers from our first session of webinar session, Datuk. Okay, Assalamualaikum, Datuk. Any advice to students in order to survive, especially during the pandemic, since most of the industry freeze their hiring? What do you think, Datuk?
Well, I think the most important thing is I think you have to be very careful with how you spend your money. Because when I was a young engineer, the first thing I did was to buy a new briefcase, to buy a new car, to buy a new handphone. and to buy a new outfit to go to work. I think what's most important is actually that we remain humble, that we make sure that we don't spend money unnecessarily. Even I, at my age also, I'm very careful now, because we don't know what's in the future. And what we see now is many companies are slowing down their business. Many companies are even closing down. Some companies that are so strong, some big names are already starting to let go people. I have my sisters and my brother-in-law who are in Malaysia Airlines, and they are also worried about their careers because nobody knows what's going to happen with Malaysia Airlines. Itu satu contoh saja kan, banyak contoh di keliling kita. So I think as we go out, we have to keep an open mind. The job could be waiting for us where we don't even see it actually. So sometimes it could be something that we want to try online, for example. You know, you want to be able to apply to any job. It may not even be something that is related to what you studied, but it's okay. Any job you do is a learning experience. Saya pernah kerja bank sebenarnya, 2 tahun saya kerja bank. Dan bila saya kerja di bank, saya dibagi tugas untuk kutip hutang. Corporate debt. Saya dapat tugas saya kutip hutang 500 juta. So saya engineer, saya tak pernah buat banking kan, tapi itu tugas yang dibagi kepada saya. Jadi saya terpaksa laksanakan lah. Jadi I have to learn the law, because sebagai bank kita bukanlah guna gangster lah kan nak kutip duit kan, tapi kita guna lawyer untuk hantar surat saman atau hantar untuk bawa saman di mahkamah. So be adventurous, be open, be willing to try anything as a young engineer, as long as it's not something illegal lah, of course, right? So don't go and sell drugs, or don't go and grow ganja plants in your house. I don't think you should do that. But I think you should be adventurous and try anything that comes your way.
Yeah. It's so true, Datuk. Indeed. Thank you. Right. Thank you, Datuk. Okay, next from Shurak Izzuddin. Hello. Suggest top 3 languages worth learning for the future industry.
Okay, I would say that you can't, whether you like it or not, Donald Trump doesn't like them, but you cannot run away from the fact that China is a huge economy in the world, right? So I think learning Mandarin is a useful language, in my view, my personal view. I think that for those people who are interested in European languages, I would suggest Spanish, because Spanish is a language that is spoken in many European countries, not just in Spain, but also in Italy and in France, and even to a certain extent in the UK. But my favorite language is actually French, because I studied French when I was in primary school. But I've forgotten most of it because I don't get a chance to practice it. But to me, the most beautiful language is Arabic, in my view, my personal view. Yeah. So if you learn any of these languages, Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, French, memang tak rugi lah, pada pendapat saya lah. Yeah. I think, but you have to also select a language which you can also apply. Yeah. Because if it's a language you learn but you don't have the chance to practice, pun saya rasa mungkin tak berapa, the return is not as much lah kan. So you have to decide what is also relevant for you.
All right. Okay, thank you, Datuk. Yeah, interesting. All right, the next questions. All right, from Chilat. Salam, Datuk. A part of the 3 soft skills that you mentioned is entrepreneurial skill is a necessity for engineering graduates. Example, risk-taking, financial knowledge, and etc.
Okay, very interesting question. After I worked as an engineer for about 7, 8, 9 years, I came to a point in my life where I had to decide whether I wanted to become a pure engineer, like being like a consultant or a designer, or do I want to go to corporate world, meaning to go into management. So I decided that I'm more suitable to be a management, because I like to do marketing and I like to interact with people. So I decided to go and do my MBA. So when I went to do my MBA, I tried doing it part-time, but it didn't work for me. So I decided to go to the UK full-time. So I sold my car, I sold my washing machine, I sold my fridge, I pinjam duit. My parents bagi duit untuk my flight ticket. So I went to do my MBA. So my advice for young engineers, at some stage in your career, after maybe at least 5 years, if you get the chance to do your MBA, because I believe you will learn a lot of things when you do your MBA. It's just a 1 year or maybe 2 years program, but you will learn a lot of interesting things, strategy, scenario planning, HR, marketing, and of course, finance and accounting. In the meantime, between now and when you start work, it's important for you to have a little bit of basic understanding of financial knowledge. At least you can read accounts or read a profit and loss statement or read a balance sheet. Yeah? Because even if you start a small business on your own, you need to manage your cash flow. You need to know what the banks charge you in terms of lending money for you to start your business. You need to understand at least some basic financial knowledge. I think that's very useful. So you can do that online, right? You can learn that online, or you can take short courses. That's not a problem. I think that's very beneficial. And the other course, if I may suggest, if you have time, is to also, you can go online and read all these articles from, for example, Harvard Journal, or some of the business schools. They publish online about the latest trends in entrepreneur skills, the latest trends in terms of monetizing your ideas. What are the latest trends for people who want to start a new business? What are the new ideas? So a lot of knowledge out there online that you can find if you look for it. So entrepreneurship, financial skills, and the other one, if I may say, risk management. Sometimes it's a boring subject, but if you want to do business, you must understand the concept of risk. What does it mean to take the risk? The higher the risk, the higher the reward.
Yes.
But the higher the potential loss as well, right? So I think the concept of risk management is also something that all of us engineers must understand.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do agree with you. Also, MBA graduates, yeah, all right. And I believe, I think your sharing session today is so benefit to our students, also our staff and alumni, and our community as well. All right. Thank you so much for having you today, Datuk. I'll pass back to, do you have any question? Okay, fine. We have another question, last minute questions from Aimu Rusdi. How does IB prepare for a new investment post-COVID-19?
Very interesting. I think the most important thing for us when we do an investment is how much returns are we going to get? So how much profit are we going to obtain in the future, right? Now, as a GLC, the profit is not necessarily just in terms of dollars and cents. The profit could be in terms of the job opportunities or job creation being established. So whatever that we invest, for example, we invest 10 million, we must get a return of at least 12.5 million. Right. So, for example, we must make at least 20%. So that's 2 million. So, or 2.5 million. So as we look in the future, we have to understand what's the demand now. Previously we used to build buildings and we rent the buildings to other companies so that we can get rental income. So the rental income will help us to recover our investment and give us profit. But now we feel that there's not much demand for office space because many people are now used to working at home. So we are very worried now that if we build another building, there might not be people who might want to use that building. So our money might be sitting there and not generating any income. So we have to be very careful. We have to understand where the demand is. You can see that suddenly logistics is a business that has gone up. Because a lot of people are staying at home and people are ordering a lot of things online. So e-commerce is something that is going to be definitely increasing. So in our partnership with DHL, we are exploring some e-commerce ventures. So recently H&M, which is a fashion company from Sweden, opened their logistics and distribution hub in port of Tanjung Pelepas. Because dulu kalau you order barang daripada H&M, barang tu datang daripada Europe. Sekarang barang tu datang daripada PTP. Sebab dia akan ada consignment every month by ship and maintain their stock dekat PTP for distribution in Southeast Asia. So logistics is a business that we think there is a demand. But the biggest business I feel that I want to explore now, which we haven't done before, is something we all need, which is food. Right? We all need to eat food. Saya pun tengah fikir malam ni nak buka puasa makan apa, saya pun tak tahu lagi kan. Sebab ni baru pukul 11 lebih, belum pukul 12.
The most simple but not easy to answer.
So food is something that we want to look at because Singapore is very scared now. Tiba-tiba border dah tutup, dia tak dapat makanan, dia punya sayur semua daripada Cameron Highlands kan. So Singapore is very concerned about food security because we can jam them, we can blackmail them, and we can tell them, sorry, I'm not sending you any chickens or any fish or any eggs or any vegetables. You go and find yourself, you know. So I think as a country, they're very concerned about food security. And we as a country also, I think we are importing too much food from overseas. Masa saya kecil-kecil tu kan, kita tanam sendiri semua kan. Kita tanam pokok papaya kat belakang, tanam pokok pisang sendiri. Ni sekarang semua pisang daripada Philippines. I don't understand why. So I think this is something that we are looking at. So coming back to the question, sorry, I punya jawapan panjang lebar. I think you need to understand the demand. If you do something, you invest in something, you have to make sure you do market research. You understand the consumer expectation. You understand how much people are willing to pay for that product, and you understand the marketing strategy before you invest in something.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Datuk. Thank you so much. All right. Without further ado, I would pass back to Yang Berhasrat Datuk Rafiq for his last few words for today. Over to you, Datuk.
Thank you, Puan. Thank you, Puan.
Thank you, Murni, Datuk, Khairil. Thank you so very much for spending some of your precious time with us. I really enjoy your talk. You know, your tips, these 3 tips on communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. I think it is not just useful for students; it is useful for me as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I want to get your consent so that I can use these 3 C's. You know, whenever I teach my students.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I may not be able to articulate it as well as you are, but you know, that 3 C's I think is very important for our students. And you mentioned about language just now. You mentioned that you learn French. 2 of my daughters also learn French.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and you know, during my days as undergraduate students, you know, long time ago, they say that if you want to speak the language of love, then you speak French. If you want to speak business, then you speak English. And if you want to swear, you speak German. Yeah, it's totally interesting. And I have to agree with you that Arabic is the most beautiful language. Arabic is the most beautiful language. And it is easy to learn, but very difficult to master. The Arabic. So for your information, I'm also learning Arabic and Mandarin as well. But I don't know.
Excellent.
But it seems like, you know, language is not my forte. It seems like, you know, it's very difficult for me to learn language compared to some technical stuff. Engineering stuff is, you know, I can grasp engineering concepts very easily rather than, you know, languages. But that is
different side of the brain. One is left side, one is right side.
Yeah, that's right. So again, Datuk Khairil, thank you so very much for spending your time with us. And to all of you, our viewers, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Yeah, don't forget to like, share, and comment our Facebook. There you go. Let me try and get this one. No, it's not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. Right. Anyway, it's on the screen. The image. Like, comment, and share our Facebook, Faculty of Engineering, UTM Johor Bahru. We have many more seminars for you to. So stay tuned. Okay, back to you, Murni.
Thank you, Datuk. Thank you so much. Okay, and also thank you, Dr. Khairil, again. And I so enjoy your sharing session today. All right, thank you for our viewers today. It's always a pleasure for us for having our large number of viewers for our webinar Captain of Industry today. Please wait to our upcoming webinar with our next Captain of Industry and surely with interesting issue. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep your social distancing,
Please don't forget to like, comment and share our program. Have a good day. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And see you next time. Bye.